Moin Moin and welcome to Ralfs Foto-Bude. Yeah, one day ago Panasonic presented the brand new system camera GX7. Yeah, and one day later I've got one in my photo booth. So this is the brand new Panasonic Lumix GX7, a system camera with a micro four thirds sensor, 16 megapixel, and you see a real nice design. So usually Panasonic build cameras with a little bit of, I call it plastic look, like the G6, G4, G5, sorry, and but this one has a real brand new design, a retro design. It comes a little bit like the Fuji X series, like the XE1 and the X20. It comes with a nice aluminium finish, with a nice aluminium top, and the underside is also with a nice aluminium finish. The grip is very smooth and it's a very nice texture, so it's very nice to hold the camera. And the design is much more stylish and much more individual than the old Panasonic camera. So I like this design very much. The GX7 comes in two designs. In this one, this is the silver black design, and it comes in the complete black design where the top and the bottom is also in a black finish. So this is the most important thing of the new outlook, the new design of the Panasonic GX7. But there are still much more features inside the camera which are very interesting, and I'm sure you will enjoy this too. So let's have a look to the top of the camera. On top of the camera we have the big program dial, we have the on-off switch, then we have the shutter release, and around the shutter release we have a dial too. So you have a dial for the manual exposure setting or something like that. So that's very neat, because you have your finger here and you can move the dial very fast. You don't have to move your finger in front or anywhere else. So you can push the button and you can move the dial very easy and very fast. Here we have the flash, the internal flash. We can put it out with this small button on the back side of the camera, and very nice. You can move the flash a little bit backwards, so you can make an indirect flash over the ceiling. That's very nice. I like this very much. Then you have the external flash shoe, and here, yeah, that's one really nice thing I show you later. So be a little bit patient. Let's turn the camera on the back side. Here you see that's the electronic viewfinder, but it's not only a normal electronic viewfinder, it has a nice gimmick inside or built in. So yeah, on the back side we have the button to change between the control monitor and the electronic viewfinder. As I told you before, we have the flash button. Here we have the switch to change between autofocus and manual focus. And in the middle we have the AFAA lock button, where you can lock the autofocus or the auto exposure. Then we have the quick menu. Like all the other Panasonic cameras too, they also have this quick menu again in the GX7. We have the replay button, then the display button, where you can change the different display settings. I can show you how this will work. So you have the normal display with the most important informations, then you have the display without any informations, you have the display with the 3D level meter, and you have the 3D level meter alone, and back to the view with all the camera things with the exposure time and stuff like that. So here you see the most important settings of the camera. Then we have a four-way button, so it's actually there are four single buttons. It's not like the G6 or the G4 5 where you have a 4-way button. So here we have 4 individual buttons. On top we go to the ISO setting. The other setting starts from 124 up to 25,600 ISO, so that's the range for the ISO setting. You can set a maximum limit ISO. You see here, ISO limit, you can change the ISO limit, so that's very easy because turn the front dial or the top dial and you set the maximum ISO setting. That's very nice. Then we have the white balance button. We go to the white balance. Here you have the different white balance settings, and we have the dial on top, so you can change the settings using the dial, and for sure you can change the setting just by tipping with your finger on the point you want to make your setting. So you have 3 different possibilities. First you have the dial here on top, you have the buttons here, and you have the fingertip to change the setting. So the touchscreen works like all the other Panasonic cameras, G6 and TZ41. The touchscreen works real good. So let's go to the white balance. Then we have in the down button we have the drive mode from single to high to the to the auto bracketing and to the self timer. Here in the burst mode or in the drive mode, you see that this says more settings go up. So if I press the up button, you will see there are 4 different settings for the burst rate. You have the high one, you have the high one with the live view, and then you have the middle and the low speed. So let's go back to the single mode. Let's here, and then you have the on this side we have the autofocus mode, so you can change between the different autofocus settings. You have the face detection autofocus, you have the AF tracking where you can point on a certain point in your scene, a child or a dog or something like that, and then the autofocus tries to track this one. So it's very nice, but it works not always really perfect, but give him a try. So next point is the 23 area autofocus, then the 1 area autofocus and the pinpoint autofocus. So let's go to the 1 area autofocus. So you see here's the 1 point autofocus, and again you can move your finger and put the autofocus on a point where you want to put it, and with the dial on top you can change the size of the autofocus field. So that's like all the other Panasonic cameras. This works very fine and it's very easy to use because you can move your finger on a place where you want to have the autofocus. So that's very easy to handle, and it's very nice to work with the touch autofocus. Then you have the FN2 button or the trash button, and the Wi-Fi button, FN3 button, and you see the camera has a Wi-Fi module inside, so it's the same Wi-Fi module like the TZ41 and the G6. So if you press the Wi-Fi module, the Wi-Fi button, you come into the Wi-Fi menu. They can make a new connection, select destinations from history, or select a destination from favorites. So let's go to a new connection. If you press the new connection, you see which different settings you have. You have the remote shooting and view, you have the playback on a TV, you have to have a TV set with a Wi-Fi module, then you can send images while recording. That's a very nice function because you can shoot and in the background the camera sends the images directly to a different source like your mobile phone or your tablet computer, so you can shoot and in the background the camera does the work. So that's very nice. Or send image stored in the camera to external device. So if I go to to the point send image while recording. You have the choice between the smartphone, the PC, cloud sync service, web service, or an AV device. So let's do it to the smartphone, and then you can do it via network or direct. Usually use the direct way, and then you have a manual connection, and here we go. If you have a smartphone, just go on the WLAN setting and search for the GX7, and then you have the connection. You have to put in the password, and that's it. If you have a newer smartphone, Apple doesn't have this by now. If you have a newer smartphone, you can make the connection much easier just by using your NFC chip, because the GX7 has an NFC chip. You see here on this side there's a small sign with a hand. This says there's an NFC chip, so just put your smartphone close to this NFC chip and they make the connection, and they make the Wi-Fi connection. You don't have to put in any codes or stuff like that. So that's a very easy way. It works very fine on the G6 and the TZ41, so same technique in this camera. Then we have the big LCD screen. As I told before, it's a touch screen, and you can move out the screen like not exactly 90 degrees. It's like 80 degrees in the horizontal, and up and downwards it's like 45 degrees downwards. So you can move the screen a little bit, so you have a better view if you work from top and look downside to your scene. And then we have the viewfinder, and one very nice thing of this viewfinder, that's one of the best things of the camera, I think. You can move the viewfinder up 90 degrees, so you can work from top of the camera. You have the look from top of the camera into the viewfinder, so you can hold the camera very firm in front of your body and stabilize the camera very firm in front of your body. And one real good thing, you don't have to move the camera here and the nose goes always on the screen and makes dirt on the screen. So move a little bit up and you can work a little bit from top of the camera, so that's very nice. I like this very much. I like the viewfinder to turn up very much. You know, the Olympus cameras doesn't have it built in, but they have these external viewfinder which you can move also up 90 degrees, so you have a look on from top of the camera to the scene. So, and Panasonic does this now built in. The viewfinder is built in, so you have the look from top. And one really good thing you may know from the G6, that's the autofocus. If you look through the viewfinder, you can move your finger on the screen and you will see the autofocus point also in the viewfinder. So that's called, I show you in the menu how this point is named. Just give me a second, please. That's the point. Just a second, please. Because I like this very much, and when I first got the camera, I thought, oh no, they have the new viewfinder, and they will not have the nice touch focus method. So, but they have it, and so I'm very pleased that they have it. And it's called, where it is, it's called touch setting. Here in the touch setting we have this one. Go to the touch setting and the touchpad AF, that's what I mean. You have to turn on the touchpad AF, and I can show you how this will work. So if you look through the viewfinder, you see, here we are, here's the viewfinder. Just a second. We'll try to give you a little bit better view to the viewfinder. Here we are, here's the viewfinder. And now my finger goes on the screen, and you see the yellow point. It's very difficult to show, but now you see, here we are, the yellow autofocus area moves around, so my finger is on the back and my finger moves. the screen is dark, but the finger moves and moves the autofocus point to the area where you want to have it. So it's very good because you can look a little bit from up to the viewfinder and move your finger while you look through the viewfinder on the back side of the camera on the screen and move the autofocus point anywhere you want it. So these are the main functions and these are the main points of the Panasonic GX7. I showed you the menu before. One thing, the quick menu is exactly the same like we have in the other Panasonic cameras. You see here we have the quick menu with the most important settings. It starts, if you are in the program or ASM mode, it starts from the photo style, then the flash mode, then you have the video settings, the picture setting, quality. Here in the quality you see we have the RAW mode, and you can decide if you want to shoot only in RAW or if you want to shoot in RAW plus JPEG mode. Then we have the autofocus, from autofocus single, autofocus continuous, and AFF is the camera decides by herself what's better, autofocus single or autofocus continuous. Then we have the AF mode I showed you before with the different settings. We have the metering mode where you can set from multi-metering to center weighted and spot metering. Then we have the exposure time and the aperture, and we have the exposure compensation or correction, the sensitivity in ISO, and you have the white balance. So these are the settings you will reach while pressing the quick menu button. If you want more, just go in the menu and you see the menu is exactly the same like in the G6. You have the recording menu. It starts with the photo style. You have the different photo style settings like vivid, neutral, monochrome, scenery, portrait, and the custom settings. Then we have the aspect ratio from 4:3, 3:2, 16:9 and 1:1. Picture size, as I told before, you have large, medium and small. You can set it also in the quick menu. That's much easier because you have combined the settings of picture size and quality in the quick menu. Then you have the quality, metering mode, burst rate, auto bracketing, self timer, highlight shadow, eye dynamic, eye resolution, HDR. You can start an HDR picture, and here we have the settings for the HDR. You can set a dynamic range, and you can set the auto align on or off, so that's a nice feature. For the HDR mode, just go back with this one here. Then you have the multi-exposure. You can make a time-lapse shot or a stop-motion animation. Here you can set the start time, you can set the shooting interval, and in the stop-motion animation you can set the shooting interval, and you can say how many pictures you want to take, and what is the shooting interval. So go on the set point and you can make your decision. I have to turn it off now. Okay. Then we have a panorama setting. If you're in the panorama mode, electronic shutter, that's very important, because also like the G6, the GX7 has an electronic shutter, so you can take pictures absolutely in silence. You can turn off all the noise of the camera, all the beeps and all the sound of the camera, and use the electronic shutter, and you will hear almost nothing when the camera takes a picture. So that's really nice for museums, for concerts or stuff like that, because you can shoot absolutely without that anybody notice that you take a picture. Shutter delay, flash, red eye removal, ISO limit, as I showed you before. You can set an ISO limit, you can set the ISO increments from third to 1 EV. So then extended ISO, long shutter noise reduction, shading compensation, teleconverter. Digital zoom, you can turn on a digital zoom. I would not recommend that you do so. Next very important point, that's the stabilizer. Usually the Olympus lenses uses the OIS stabilizer. The OIS stabilizer is built in the lens, so there's the moving element that compensates the shaking of your hand, so the stabilizer is built in. So now if you press the stabilizer menu point, you will see operation mode says lens. You can turn it off also, says lens. There are two different things. The reason why is because if you take pictures from moving objects and you want to move the camera while the object is moving, you only have to compensate the shaking up and down, but not the shaking in this direction, because this would be this wouldn't be a real good picture result. So you have the two different operations of the stabilizer. But the camera has the stabilizer also built in the body. In they call it usually IBIS. That means in-body image stabilization. So if you use a nice lens like these Olympus lenses, all the Olympus lenses doesn't have a stabilizer built in, because the Olympus cameras has this IBIS. They have the stabilizer built in. So if you use an Olympus lens or another lens with an adapter without a stabilizer, and you go again to the stabilizer point, you will see the stabilizer ask you operation mode body. So exactly the same two different operation modes, but now the image stabilizer is in the body. So the camera has two systems, or the camera built in has one system, the stabilizer in the camera, and you have the stabilizer in the Panasonic lenses. So it depends which one you use. If you use a lens with a stabilizer built in, the camera uses the stabilizer of the lens. If you have a lens without a stabilizer, the camera uses stabilizer in the body. So I like this very much because it gives me the opportunity to use the Olympus lenses or older lenses with an adapter like Leica lenses or stuff like that. So I like this very much. Then we have the face recognition and picture setup. So let's go to the next one. That's the video menu. We have also again the photo style from standard vivid and so on, and then we have the recording format. Here you can choose between AVCHD and MPEG-4, and if you use the AVCHD, it's so difficult, you can choose from different recording qualities, and the highest recording quality is full HD with 50p and a data rate of 28 megabits per second. So that's exactly the same data rate and the same resolution like the G6 has. One difference between the G6, this one doesn't have an external microphone jack, so you can't put an external microphone. You only have here at the side of the camera, you only have an HDMI and an USB connector, and on the top you have an remote connector. Here we see. Here you see that says remote. Unfortunately, no external microphone, only the remote. I think it would be better if you have an external microphone jack too, so the camera would be an all-over package, perfect package, but the Panasonic didn't, so you have to deal with a built-in microphone. So the highest rate, as I said, is 50p. So let's go back. Then you have the exposure mode. The exposure mode you can only set if the camera is here on the movie manual, and if you are on the movie manual, you will see we have the exposure mode, and in the exposure mode you can change between PASM, so you can make the settings for the video by yourself if you want to. Then we have the continuous autofocus, metering mode, highlight, shadow, eye dynamic and eye resolution. Recording and that's it. Oh no, sorry, recording, highlight, teleconverter, digital zoom. I was a little bit confused. And also again the silent operation. As I told you before, we have at the photo mode we have the silent operation where you can turn off any sounds of the camera. You have the microphone level display and you can adjust the microphone level, but as I said, no external microphone. So let's go back to the P mode because I want to show you the next menu. Next menu is the custom menu. Let's go to the beginning of the custom menu, and in the custom menu have the silent mode. As I said, here you can turn on the silent mode, and if you do so the camera doesn't make any noise, so you can shoot in absolutely silence without any noise. The camera is absolute silent if you set it to on. Then you have the AE lock, oh my god. And the lock hold, so you can customize the function of the button there. Shutter AF, then you have the half press release off. That's a nice feature because usually if you press the shutter halfway, the camera makes the autofocus, and then you have to press the shutter completely and the camera makes the picture. And if you turn this one on, the camera shoots directly. So that's a little bit, I don't know, but it's a little bit confusing. Then you have the different autofocus modes, quick AF, the eye sensor autofocus, pinpoint. Then you have the autofocus assist lamp, that's in front of the camera, direct focus area, focus release priority. There you can set if the focus or the shutter release is priority. Then you have the AF and MF of, that's in former times they call it DMF. DMF is a combination from autofocus and manual focus. So if you turn this on and use it, you first make the autofocus, and then if you turn the manual focus in front of the camera at the lens, you will see it makes a magnification, and you can make the manual focusing and can do individual focusing on the point. So that's as I said, I think it's called DMF in former time. Manual focus assistant, here you can set in which way you want to start the manual focus assistant, usually by turning the focus ring on the lens. That's the usual way to start the manual focus assist. Then you have the manual focus guide, and very important, you have the peaking function. Peaking function is a very nice function if you are in the manual focus mode. Just turn the dial here in manual focus, and you see if I get the perfect sharpness, the outlines where the highest contrast is, they highlighted it. In this case, they highlighted it in white. You can change the colors of the peaking function. And the peaking function is very nice. Here you see we have the set function, and if you go to set, you can select the detect lever and the display color. So the peaking function is very nice if you do a lot of manual focusing, because it gives you real good help. Then we have the histogram guidelines. Here you can choose from different settings of the guideline. Highlighting, you can highlight saturated areas. Then you have the constant preview exposure meter, the dial guide where you can set different the operation guide. When you turn the dials on the switches, then you have the different display styles. Monitor info display, recording area, remaining pictures, auto review, FN button setting. Here you can set the FN button for recording mode and replay mode. individual, and if you go to the recording mode, you see we have the different settings from FN, starting from, where's the one? There's number 1. That's the number 1. Then we go to number 2, that's here. Then we go to number 3. Then we go to number 4, that's up here. And then you have the FN 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, and they are hide it on the touch screen. You can move it out, and you have the different FN buttons on the touch screen. So let's go back, and then you can make the same setting for the play mode. Next one is the Q menu. You can configure the Q menu, the dial settings. That's what I said before. You can set the dial, this and this one. You can make the different settings, and you can, if you want to, directly set the exposure compensation on the back dial or on the front dial. So if you go to the front dial and make the exposure correction on the front dial, so that's very easy. Just turn the front dial and you see we have the exposure correction here in the yellow area there down. If I turn the front dial, you have the exposure correction. So that's very easy if you want the exposure correction on the front or on the back dial. Next point is the video button on. That's the one on top of the camera. You can turn it on or off. Then the eye sensor and touch setting. As I told you before, we have different touch settings: touch screen, touch tab, touch AF, and the touchpad AF, where you can move your finger while looking through the viewfinder. Touch scroll is for scrolling the pictures if you have the replay function. Menu guide and shoot without lens. So next point, and that is I give you only a quick overview because this is the normal setting of the camera, like clock, wall time, travel date, Wi-Fi, beeps, speaker volume, monitor display, and monitor luminance, economy. So these are the usual settings which you use only very few because you make them once and then that's it. So these are the different settings. So if you work in the manual mode, let's go to the manual mode. It's very easy to change the settings just by turning the dial at the back side. You change the exposure time, and turning the front dial, you change the aperture. So, and if you're in one of the other settings like this, you turn the back dial and you change the exposure time, and you turn the front dial and you make the exposure correction, because I configured the camera that the exposure correction is on the top dial, on the front dial. So you can customize the GX7 like all the other Panasonic cameras to your needs. You can set all the buttons, you can set the menu, you can change a lot of settings in the camera. So one quick view to the top dial, to the program mode. As I said before, you have the usually PASM mode, then we have the video mode. We have 3 custom settings, and then you have the scene modes, and in the scene modes you have the different settings. I know there are 23 settings, I don't know if you need them all, but they are in the camera and you can use them. You see there are a lot of different settings, up to the monochrome setting and panorama shoot, and again to the clear portrait shooting. So next point is the art filter, or yeah, I call it art filter. I know it's from Olympus, but I like the name art filter very much. So you have the different art filters. You see there's, I think there's a few more than the G5, G6. You have the rough monochrome. I think this one is a new one. Silky monochrome. So there are some new filters in the GX7. I like them very much, and you can customize them. Some of them you can customize them too. So it's very nice to have these different filters. I like them very much because you can do the work in the camera and then afterwards in the computer. Here we have like dynamic monochrome, and you see we have the small slider here where you can make different settings in the menu. See, we have here the small palette. It's a little bit difficult if I turn the camera like this. But you can make here, you see, you can make here different settings in the individual. You can make individual settings in the different art filters. You see, with the exposure correction, and so that's one nice feature. The button here on top is not only a dial, but you can press the button, so you can change between different settings of the camera just by pressing the button. Yeah, and the last point on the dial, that's the auto intelligent, or the intelligent automatic, where the camera makes all the settings by herself. You can just put the camera to the scene, and the camera will set the ISO setting, exposure time, aperture, and all the stuff you need. So the camera makes everything by herself. But you can change a little bit the depth of field, or I'll show you here. You can, no, not depth of field, sorry, that was a mistake of mine. But you can change the, you again have these settings here, the auto intelligent settings. It's a little bit difficult with the camera turned to the, here we go. You can make the color settings of the auto intelligent mode. You can make the correction of in the auto intelligent mode. So you have a few settings you can manage by yourself. Yeah, so this is my quick overview over the GX7. I like it very much. I like the camera very much because I like the design. I like to hold it in my hand. The surface is very nice. The design is very nice. I can show you that, so you can imagine the size of the camera. I can show you in a comparison of the Fuji X-E1, because some of you may know the size of the Fuji X-E1. So here is the comparison of the Fuji X-E1. So you see the Lumix is a little bit lower, but if you compare it in the depths is almost the same. And next point is the length. You see the Lumix is a little bit shorter, but the Fujifilm has an APS-C sensor and the Lumix has a Micro Four Thirds sensor, so the sensor here is a little bit smaller. So the camera is also, or that's one reason why the camera should be also a little bit smaller. Yeah, so that's the GX7. As I told before, I like it very much. I like the concept, I like the size, I like to hold it in my hand because it gives you a very firm hold in your hand. It's very nice, and the grip in front has a real nice form. So also my big hands have a good hold at the camera. And one thing for sure, that's the viewfinder, the turnable electronic viewfinder. That's absolutely new in a camera class like this. I've never seen it built in a camera class like this. I think Fuji is the first company with a turnable viewfinder. I like the turnable screen. I like the autofocus mode with a touch, touching the screen and moving the autofocus while looking through the viewfinder. Yeah, so it's a very nice camera. I'm very excited and I want to see how the picture quality is. The problem, this one is a pre-series model, so the picture quality is not the same as at the final version, so I cannot compare the picture quality by now. But if I have a serial model or final model, I will do the comparison of the picture quality between the old Panasonic like G6 and the new one, because this seemed to have a new sensor. I will do it as soon as possible. Yeah, hope you enjoyed my review a little bit and gives you a quick overview and a nice overview about the GX7 and helps you a little bit to decide if you should wait till the end of August, beginning of September. I think in this area the new camera will reach the market, or if you say no, that's not the one I'm looking for. But I think it's worth to wait because it's a real nice camera, and I'm very excited to see how the other companies will come up, also Fuji with the XM1, and let's see what Olympus does. I think they have the EP5, and maybe they have another model with a similar feature like the GX7. So come back on my video channel. In the next days I will have some more interesting videos, I hope, from the XM1 from Fuji, and some other nice stuff on my YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed it. Come back again, and till now I say moin moin.